We now come to the third and the final book launch of the evening. It's called The Enlightened Manager, A Transformative Approach to Work and Life, authored by Mr. Vishwanath Alluri. Mr. Alluri wears many hats. He is the founder and CEO of IMI Mobile and also the secretary of the Krishnamurti Foundation of India. In this book, his role beyond profits offering us on stage. And Mr. M. Srinivas Rao.
As Shruti mentioned, I would dearly address Vishwanathan Alluri as Vish, and he wears many hats, and apart from being a chartered accountant and a company secretary, he has produced some acclaimed documentaries. Like they are called The Monk with a Camera and The Sweet Requiem. And you know what? His company, the company founded by him, the IMI Mobiles, was listed on the London's AIM, and it was sold to Cisco for a staggering USD 730 million. Yeah. And suddenly Vish woke up one day and he said that, okay, now I'll work towards purpose and not position, and he chose to be the secretary of Krishnamurti Foundation. So here he blends his background in technology management and storytelling in the dissemination of Krishnamurti's teachings. Now, we'll have the cover reveal of his book, The Enlightened Manager. Yeah, so this is the cover. Yeah. So I'll stick my discussions more towards the book, and given the time restriction, sir, I have many questions to you, but we'll take 2 minutes per question so that we can wrap it up on time. What's inspired you to write the book, The Enlightened Manager? Was there a defining moment, and why this book?
Yeah, only my exposure to G. Krishnaji teachings has made me share the fascination of life with others. I think there is many people live their lives in a shallow water. They swim in shallow waters. So we are born and die without feeling the depth of waters. So we want to feel the depth of life, that the fascination of life exists. So that's why I feel that many people in the corporate world should, I want to share with them this fascination of life itself. That's why I thought of writing this book.
Rightly said, sir. So, how many of us have really taken the time to scroll within our own souls? Like we scroll through Instagram and every other social media, but have you ever looked at the mirror and have you asked yourself, how am I feeling today? And I think this book is laying the path for that. And I'll move to my next question. How J. Krishnamurti's teachings has influenced the practices outlined in your book? Do you think his ideas are relevant for today's leaders and organization?
First of all, I must say, Krishnaji's teachings are universal and timeless and eternal. Nothing to do with the time today. They are very contemporary. They are in the moment. He talked of always in the moment only. So there is no question of whether relevant or not. They are always relevant. More relevant today because, more and more relevant because today we are talking of artificial intelligence, which is mechanical intelligence. Krishna talked of supreme intelligence, which is not the artificial intelligence of a computer. So people may forget what is intelligence. So I think Krishna teachings are very relevant to point out what is human intelligence. It is human intelligence. So the question of time doesn't exist for him. And also there are no practices. We don't give any practice there. He never prescribed anything. It is for you to learn, and your learning will conduct how you conduct your life.
That's absolutely right, sir. I agree with you. So yeah, why Krishnamurti Foundation and not any other foundation like Sadhguru or the Art of Living?
I think that question has its own answer. I don't know. I will tell you one thing. Krishnamurti Foundation means there are 6 schools, 6 education. They're called 6 education centers. We call them. Each center has got 3 units. there is a rural center, the school, and a study center. Each rural center, each school has a rural center. Krishnaji himself had written a statement, if I were the head of a Rishi Valley, what I will do. He had said that first I will meet the rural neighborhood, I will tell them I will work with them, they will work with us. So that's how the spirit is, that is always combining with the rural neighborhood. So we are doing rural outreach work so much in India, is unknown actually. When you say school, it's a very narrow, the meaning of the school is it narrows down the scope of the work they do. We have a rural education program in Chennai, in Rishi Valley. We have a rural tribal environmental education program in Valley School. We have native seed cultivation in Sahyadri, Pune. We have longitudinal study, rural studies in Chennai. We have got one school in Varanasi on the banks of Ganges, where we do women empowerment scheme. Also, we do rural education, free education. So, apart from this, beside the school, so and also it has attracted so many people of such qualifications, IITs, IIMs, and doctorates in many variety of subjects. They are all committed and working for decades with selfless service, I can say. I don't find any other group like that in India. If at all you have any service to do any service, I think this is the group.
Right, got it. Yeah. So, Steve Jobs came to India on a spiritual quest, and your book also prompts us to kind of, look within ourselves. So, what do you mean by looking within oneself? Maybe you can restrict your answer to a management professional.
No, I don't want to talk about Steve Jobs thing. I don't know what he has done. Although I quoted something from his book, Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson. I quoted that book in this because the chapter is called Role Models and Second-Hand Human Beings. We can't take anybody as a role model. That's what I quoted here. However, going inward, inner dimension is the key of life itself. Going inward is a challenge for anybody. Today's education is all the time going outward. Billions and millions. They created a race for children, for a new generation of people. Education as itself is wrongly educated, I feel. Because without understanding the meaning of life itself, they are running. It is much like a car journey you are doing. If you take a journey of car, you are driving from here to Bangalore, you should know how the car is working, whether there is enough fuel, whether there are brakes, there are accelerators. So if you don't know that, you may be driving without knowing that. Then you also may apply brakes thinking it's accelerator, or apply accelerator thinking it's brake, or you may apply both at the same time. That is the fate of our today's life. So then there is friction takes place, and there is the wear and tear takes place. So this understanding is very vital. That is only by going inward only is possible, I think.
Yeah. The distance between your heart and your head is close to 15 inches, but that is going to be the hardest journey anyone is going to have, transforming yourself. So I'll move to my last question. Is there anything that you would like to share with young entrepreneurs and managers who feel pressured, right? In this current generation, all of us are kind of pressured. So what do you have to say about that?
First of all, that question was mentioned in the book also. We don't give advice to anybody. We are going to give advice. Why should they take my advice? But we can share our learning. That's all I'm doing. We are nobody to give advice to anybody. Why should anybody take advice?
Yeah, maybe you want to share some of your learnings?
Yeah, see, there are three things I would like to say. The meaning of the title of this book, and there's a pause in the day, and the third is dedication. See, I would like to say the meaning of this book is a very dangerous title, Enlightened Manager. People can say, I know I'm consciously chosen this title because I'm conscious of straying into dangerous territories. That is, going into dangerous territories, putting one side on chopping block is part of entrepreneurship, I think. So that goes hand in hand with entrepreneurship. However, I have taken the meaning as per Collins English Dictionary. Collins English Dictionary says, what is enlightened is factually well informed, tolerant of alternative opinions, and guided by rational thought. I think this book goes much beyond that, even this. More about that only. So I'm not talking of the enlightenment of some sage or somebody. No, I'm not talking of that. I'm only confining myself to the meaning given as per Collins English Dictionary. Second thing is the pause in the day. See, people are always in the race. They don't like to spend even a 5 minutes break in a day. Life is a marathon, 40, 50 years you work in this. Without giving a break in the day, how will you keep yourself fresh and energetic to continue your journey? So much like we are driving from Hyderabad to Bangalore, you give a break for a coffee, tea, physical break that is. Similarly, the mind also needs a break. Whether you can have that break may be the real, bring more energy and may make you refreshed to continue your journey. But many people think, today's generation, they may think that giving a break is a waste of time, unproductive. But they don't know that may hold the key for going through a pressure cooker situation with a touch of lightness. That is, they have to test it and see. There's a pause in the day is a part of my book, Work-Life Balance, and a chapter Work-Life Balance. This book has got another thing is dedication. This has got a relevance to the chief CEOs and managers, key managers in companies today. See, many times you achieve some good outcomes, but everything you attribute to yourself. I have done it. They talk. This is normal language you hear. CEOs claim. But when there is an outcome which is contributed by so many factors, so many people, to attribute all that to oneself isn't an action of intelligence. That is what is told by, of course, I don't have to say, and I refer him as a friend on the bench in this book. So the dedication, we don't want to dedicate the book to anybody. It's not my mother, my grandmother, my son, my daughter, all that nonsense. I have not done that. However, we have chosen to dedicate the book to readers who read the book with no expectation, preconceptions, and to those who read with expectation, preconceptions, but ready to examine their own expectation, preconception. It's only to give a spirit of the book, to reflect the spirit of the book. We have written that. So that is what the dedication. You see, there's a chapter on Roger Federer. I have done parallels to management. Roger Federer, when he won the first Wimbledon in 2003, the press asked him, to whom do you dedicate this victory? Just then is Peter Carter, who was the most influential person in Roger Federer's life, had passed away in an accident 6 months back. As if he would say, it is dedicated to Peter Carter. He said, no, I'm dedicated to all the people who contributed, ball boys, coaches, everybody, physios, and so he contributed. That is a lesson. You can't dedicate to yourself to this, success. So that's what I have meant by that.
Thank you, sir. So I'll just open the floor for question. Maybe I'll take 2 questions, combine them, and put it to sir. Yep.
Yeah, I think the book is still not. They don't know the book. No, I don't know what they can ask.
Maybe something in general.
Book, and we get to see the hard copy soon. Thank you so much, Mr. Vishwanath Alluri and CA Ashwita